Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, March 29th, 2018, and you're watching WGAN-TV live at 5. Our topic today is, it's a free-for-all. Just call in and chat. You got questions you want to ask me about? You want to discuss something on your mind? Please just call in. If you are watching us on YouTube, please join us on at www.WGAN-TV, WGAN-TV.com, and then you'll be able to see a button to join the discussion. So if I go to the front page of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you're watching a little pop-up on the right side for WGAN TV Live at 5, there's a button that says Join Virtual Studio Audience. If you hit that red button, you'll join us live and can ask questions. So, and anyway, I don't know if we'll have anybody that will actually call. This is, something new, just kind of leaving the schedule open for anyone that wanted to just, call in. If you're struggling with something, either scanning or in post-production, or have a marketing question, really whatever it is, or there's just the topic you'd like to talk about, just call in and we'll have a chat. I would like to, and while we're waiting, see if anybody actually calls in, I would like to chat about the contest that Matterport announced in a newsletter today. Just take me a second to kind of refresh my memory here. So this is Matterport's newsletter, March 29th, 2018. And they're seeking the best Matterport 3D dollhouse, and they've called it a contest. And the winners will receive a $100 Amazon gift certificate. So that sounds pretty good. All you have to do is go create a snapshot of a dollhouse and submit it, and you might win. There isn't any indication, as best I can tell, of the number of winners. But what really caught my eye of why I would suggest not entering this contest is when you read the official rules, and I'm not a lawyer, I don't give legal advice, but my impression from clicking through and eventually getting to the link that has it says, by pressing the submit button and sharing your content, you acknowledge that you have read and understood the terms and conditions listed on the following page. So when I go to that page, in fact, let me see if I can just share my screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at as well. Just take me a moment. Okay. So things like this, I actually read. I'm just, there's probably a handful of us that just find this stuff interesting, and I do. And so essentially what this page says, if I can just summarize it, is once you've submitted a snapshot of your 3D dollhouse, that Matterport has the right to use that image in any way it wants, in any marketing that it wants, without further compensation. And so I don't know how many people win. Let's say it's 3, let's say it's 10. It really doesn't matter. It's anything beyond that, that you've submitted content, and now Matterport can use it without any compensation to you, including using it to market in your market, essentially saying, hey, engage a Matterport, photographer in Phoenix, and you're in Phoenix and you've submitted the content, and now they're using your content to market in your market using your content. It just doesn't feel right to me. I think they could still make it right. And the way I think that they could make it right is that any content that they want to use in any which way they want to use in perpetuity, and planets known and ways known and unknown, would simply be to offer a $100 Amazon gift card to anyone whose content is being used. And I think there's a big difference here. You all are photographers. In fact, let me just see if I can just highlight some of I got the screen up. Let's see what we have. Matterport wishes to license and you desire to grant Matterport a license to include exhibit, display, reproduce, or distribute in this case, the wording is not quite right. It says the linked Matterport space for any and all purposes, including commercial purposes that include but not limited to the marketing, promotion, and advertising of the Matterport brand, product, and services, testing of Matterport technologies, monetization of content through advertising, subscription, licensing, and other means. Such a license further includes, among other things, the right for Matterport to include this space in video, audio, visual text, graphics, artwork, photography, templates, and other content or materials created by on behalf of Matterport or its licensees to create marketing materials. By submitting this form, you grant us the following. Matterport may display these models as part of its web and mobile content gallery. These models may be used in content galleries that appear on Matterport websites and on its mobile apps, which allow users. Anyway, if I just keep going through, essentially what you're doing is saying if you submit your content and you don't win a $100 Amazon gift card, Matterport still reserves the right to use the content that you've submitted in any which way to Sunday that they want to use it. And once again, I just think this is kind of egregious. Has Matterport disclosed it? Yes, in the official rules. Did they highlight that and call that out? No. I think many of us who are photographers who have read photography magazines have submitted entries. We're pretty sensitive to that. What is, a real photography contest, doesn't allow the recipient, the person, the entity running the contest, to use any materials other than the ones that are typically first place, second place, third place. And there's an explanation of what prizing and an explanation of the use. But the use in a professional photography contest never goes to, and every entry that's been submitted, we reserve the right to do anything we want with it, even though you still own the copyright, you've granted us a license to use it. So I think, once again, this is really, I just think it's bad behavior. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice, but I would also say that Matterport is probably in violation of the state of California regulations regarding running a contest. Maybe a small matter, but the rules don't state anything about what the judging criteria are, who will be doing the judging, and there's a lot of other stuff. And so I could imagine that Matterport hasn't even registered this with the state of California, which I imagine is actually a requirement. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice, but that's what I would imagine the case. So it really just doesn't feel right. So I still think there's an opportunity for Matterport to make this right and go ahead and modify in favor of its photographers, of us, which is to say, we will only use that license agreement when we pay you a $100 Amazon gift card, meaning you were entering, you're planning to enter the contest. Your hope, your desire is to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And so I think it would be reasonably expected that if Matterport wanted to use your content in any which way to Sunday, that they pay every photographer whose content that they want to use with an Amazon gift card. This to me, it's not rocket scientist stuff. And I think, based on the last round of terms of service, which didn't feel quite right to a lot of us, and Matterport has rescinded. And then with all the to-do that's going on today with Facebook, similar discussions about, when I delete something from Facebook, does it really mean delete? And it doesn't actually seem to delete. And then I think Matterport really needs to, be conservative when it does things like this. And this is really an example where it could have been win-win for everyone simply by saying if we want to license your content, then we will pay you $100 Amazon gift card. And if we don't want to license your content, we will not use it. So I see that as pretty clear, cut and dry. What do you think? I'm going to go ahead and post this video in the We Get Around Network forum. I've already started a discussion on this topic. So I encourage you to join. Am I just living in my own world? Is it just me that's off in left field that thinks this is bad corporate behavior to do this? Is it just me, or do you feel that this seems pretty straightforward, that if Matterport wants to use our content, that it pay us for its content, or be quite clear about the managing of expectations? Because I don't really think this was run as a contest per se. I think it was, oh, gee, it would be great to go get dozens or hundreds of examples of Matterport 3D Tour dollhouses that we could use in whatever manner that we wanted, and that seems quite fine to me, as long as the photographer gets compensated fairly. And since the offer was related to a contest that some photographers would receive a gift card, it just seems that the extension here would be that any content that Matterport wants to license, that photographer get paid the $100 Amazon gift card. If that's reasonable compensation to you, then go ahead and enter. But again, until Matterport makes a clarification on this, I think this is really just kind of a land grab of an example of how do we collect as many examples of our dollhouse view to use for marketing purposes without any compensation to the majority of the photographers that submit content. So I imagine Matterport, after watching this video, may say, oh, we're planning to, license 10, or we're planning to license 100, or we're planning to license 1,000. Okay, that would be great. Prove me wrong, that I misinterpreted everything that's in there. But as best I can tell, reading through the official rules, that it's completely unclear, which is actually, in my opinion, a violation of any kind of contest, game, sweepstakes, etc., because it's completely unclear. A, how many prizes will be awarded? B, what is the total amount of the prizes? And it just doesn't seem right. So I think Matterport could say, what I'm talking about is completely caca, and they're going to award a gift card to everyone whose content they use. But frankly, I think that would just be in response to the We Get Around Network forum, yet again, having some concern, myself having some concern, and it should be clearly stated in the rules. It shouldn't be up to Matterport to interpret on the fly how many prizes that it decides it wants to give out. Now, it's perfectly fine if it came up with a judging scale and it said, on a scale of 100, and 33 points for window markings, and 33 points for best angle, and 33 points for imagination or whatever, get it to 100 points. And that if there weren't entries that were over a certain number of points, then it would not have to give out prizing. But that's the kind of thing that actually has to be addressed, and I don't think it has. So again, I'll post the video in the We Get Around Network forum. If you disagree with me, I'd love to have you push back. If you agree with me, that would be great if you commented as well. I'd just like to see a discussion on this topic, because it just doesn't feel right. Anyway, so that's all I have to say on this topic. Give me a moment here. And I noticed we actually haven't any other callers, so I'm going to talk about a different topic. And if you excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and record it so I can save it and post it in the forum. So in 10, 9, hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, March 29th, 2018, and you're watching WGAN-TV. I thought I'd talk about 3 of 40 plus reasons to join the We Get Around Network as a standard member. Just 3 of the reasons, and I'll identify them and then come back and explain why. 1, WP 3D Models WordPress plugin. 2, 9 of 40 plus videos customized with your contact info and company logo. And 3, to get on the We Get Around network, find a Matterport Pro map to make it super easy and super fast for potential clients to find you. Much nicer to have inbound leads rather than banging drums trying to drum up business. Inbound leads is rocks. So those are kind of really the 3 reasons that I would suggest out of 40 plus membership benefits. And then I just thought I'd explain a little bit on those 3. First, on WP 3D models, it does 3 things exceptionally well. It actually probably does 100 things exceptionally well. But the 3 things that are really the key takeaways. First is it generates single property websites. You may have seen some of those in the We Get Around Network forum. I'll put some links below so you can check that out. The single property website incorporates the Matterport Spaces 3D tour, photos, video, floor plans, agent contact info, lead generation form for the agent. You can generate the single property websites as branded and unbranded. The unbranded could, why just insert into an MLS just the 3D tour when you can have the whole story in one link in a single property website. Second is that WP 3D Models creates a gallery on the fly. It is a content management system, a CMS system. And so essentially you enter the information once and then you can do all kinds of interesting things like automate the process of every time that you create, that you put a 3D model into WP 3D Models WordPress plugin, that it automatically adds it to your gallery on your website. So you don't have to constantly copy code and paste it in the website, copy code, paste it in the website. And frankly, if you did that, it would, if you grabbed the Matterport iframe code and did that on your website, you do that enough times and it'll actually drag your page to a crawl. So that's really the second reason, is a gallery. And the third is for SEO, for search engine optimization. So, and what I mean by that is, first, imagine that you shoot 100 Matterport spaces in 12 months, and that each of those spaces gets 500 views. We'll just pick some numbers. So 500 times 1,000 is 50,000 views. If you're using WP 3D models, using the link from WP 3D models to share with your clients that it's getting results in that 50,000 views, that's 50,000 views that count towards the SEO of your website, not Matterport. So if you're using just the Matterport link to give to a client, or you're a real estate agent and you're using the Matterport camera and you're using the Matterport link to distribute in MLS and on your website and through social media, et cetera, you're simply giving away what's called search engine optimization, SEO, that many people would pay per click in order to try to move their website up in search and to get discovered. So this is organic, earned SEO. As a We Get Around Network standard member, you get the free use of WP3D Model's WordPress plugin. Again, those three things: single property website, creates a gallery, and contributes SEO to you. There's really probably 100 plus other reasons that WP3D Models makes a ton of sense. But that's kind of, for me, is the three that are most important. The second membership benefit is that I mentioned, was the marketing videos customized with your contact info and your company logo. We have a library of 40 plus videos from 4 different suppliers, 4 different vendors. So there are different styles of videos. And these videos essentially tell your story 24/7. If you think just about yourself, sometimes you just want to lean back and have somebody tell you your story, tell their story in a minute or two. And that's what these videos do. They work for you 24/7, whether it's on your website, in social media, or whether you're sharing it directly with the client to tell your story. Now, the videos come, I would say, kind of in 3 different categories. So if you're a photographer, excuse me. So if you're a photographer, you're a Matterport Pro. And so we have different versions. I'm a Matterport Pro, and that's really all I do is really Matterport. Or I'm a photographer that does Matterport photos, video, aerial, floor plans, etc. And so we have that kind of video to tell that story. So and then there are yet more videos that, if you are a photographer, that tell your story for your website, social media, and for sharing directly. I've seen links in email. Just click here and it tells the story. If you're a real estate agent or broker, then we have videos that tell the story from your perspective. And we have different kinds of videos, whether they're animated or handwritten videos, and we have some yet other styles. And then the third category is, which I think is a category into itself, is Google Street View. So now, as a Matterport service provider, that you can publish, you can capture, you can scan with Matterport, create the 3D tour, publish it to Matterport. You can now also publish to Google Street View. And Google, and we'll start to talk more about this in the We Get Around Network Forum. Google has massive reach, and that's really important. If you think about your own searching, you're searching typically with Google, or you're searching Google Maps. And so if you capture a space, let's say for a restaurant, you're going to have massive impact in helping the restaurant succeed by publishing your Matterport space now through Google, and so that it can be found and discovered either through maps. I'm looking for restaurants nearby, or I'm looking for Chinese restaurants nearby in Google Maps, or I'm just searching Google Maps for Chinese restaurants in Atlanta, for example. So we have a couple different kinds of videos for Google messaging. The one is Matterport or Google Street View. Why choose? Because essentially you've captured once, you can publish twice. So that's a really powerful message. And it's probably one of the more popular videos that I think will really start to take off. Now that we all kind of realize, oh gosh, I thought I was a Matterport service provider, but it turns out I am also a Google Street View trusted pro. And just as a separate aside, I want to say that in order to be a Google Street View trusted pro, you need to have published 50 360-degree photospheres to Google, and essentially it's likely that just one of your models isn't made up of enough 360s, that it will qualify you to get back an email that says, congratulations, you've reached the status of Google Trusted Photographer. Here's how you can get digital assets be listed in the Google directory for photographers, etc. So certainly would encourage you to take a look at those videos. So those are the kind of the three categories that we have. If you're a photographer, if you're a real estate agent, and then if you're a Google pro. And incidentally, one of the Google videos is Google only. So if you just want to tell the story related to Google, it may be that your website's divided such that you talk about Matterport and you talk about Google Street View. And if you want to have those messaging separate, you could have a video just for your Google messaging and a video separate for just your Matterport messaging. And oh, by the way, if you're a photographer, I think one of the great things that you can do is to say, gee, I get, as a standard member, I get the free use of 9 videos as long as you're a standard member. And it may be that you decide you don't need all 9. Well, use the balance of the videos to give to clients, real estate agents and brokers, to help them get more business, because the more business that they get, the more photography business that you're going to get. And that would be a great use case. And oh, by the way, you don't need to order all 9 at once. So you can just say, okay, I'm going to join. I just need these 3 today. And then I'm going to decide, oh, maybe I'll order some for my real estate clients, or I'll decide to order some of these teaser videos, some shorter videos that are used for social media. And incidentally, some of our videos are interactive lead generation videos. So they're pretty cool if you have not seen a video that has this feature. So essentially, it gets towards the end of the video and it says, ask us for a quote, for example, and you'll fill in your client fills in their name, their email address, and then hits submit. The video continues to play, and then it goes to the web page that you've decided. So if you want it to launch a Matterport Spaces 3D tour, you want it to launch a Google Street View tour, you want it to go to the front page of your website, whatever it might be, that when you order these videos, these interactive videos that are done for us by Media Bumpers Interactive, that you can specify that. So I think that's really cool. So that's the kind of the overall, the second membership benefit is the having marketing videos that help tell your story. And I think if you do the math, if you ever try to engage a company to write, produce, create video, frankly, as a standard member, these videos are the deal of the century. And I just think they're so important to helping you succeed faster that we just keep building out the library. So as of today, we have more than 40 videos, and we'll keep adding videos to the library to continue to help you succeed faster, and we'll refresh them as appropriate. And the third reason out of 40 plus reasons is to get on the We Get Around network, find a Matterport Pro map. And incidentally, if you're checking out the search at the top of the map, you can see that you can search by Matterport, you can search by Google, and you can search by Zillow. So filter by Matterport, filter by Google Street View, filter by Zillow. So essentially, as a Matterport photographer, you already are a Google Street View photographer. So you show up with your public profile under Matterport and Google Street View. And because Zillow is so easy to shoot a video for Zillow, in order to become a Zillow certified photographer, I want to say you need to shoot 3 videos using the Zillow app and you qualify. It's that easy. And as a photographer, if your clients want Zillow, and there's a lot of reasons I could imagine that. So, if Zillow comes back and says using Zillow video moves agents up in Zillow search, and then results in 3 times as many listing likes, saves, leads. I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but you can imagine that if you move up in search, you're going to have bigger numbers. And then second is that Zillow is moving in the direction of its 3D Zillow 3D Home. I'm not quite sure I'd call it 3D. I think it's probably why Matterport is come back and referred to its product now with a branded name of True 3D, because it probably taking issue with Zillow calling 3D. But in any event, Zillow, as of today, Thursday, March 29th, 2018, is presently testing a Zillow 3D Home in Arizona. And I would expect by the end of this year that they will roll out that feature, service, product, whatever, by the end of the year. And so we kind of wanted to jump the curve and enable anyone, an agent that was searching for a photographer that does Zillow photography, that when you join as a standard member, we automatically, a standard member and a premium member, we automatically include you in filter by Matterport, filter by Google Street View, filter by Zillow, because we want to help you get found based on the way that someone is using our map to find a Matterport Pro. So, and you might say, well, okay, well, why don't I just wait until Dan, until you run a Matterport Pro wanted notice? And I would say probably just a couple things. One, when we do those Matterport Pro wanted notices, generally within minutes, certainly within hours, rarely more than a day, we do get many people that respond. And so if you're lucky enough to be able to put your location pin on the map where there's no other Matterport service provider has a public profile, I think you have an immediate advantage, so that when a potential client is searching for Matterport Pro in your market, that we never end up running a Matterport Pro wanted notice. And so that, there's something said to being first. Now, if there already are location pins in your market, then I guess I would say it's yet another reason to be on the map, because if you're not there and there's 3 or 5 other Matterport Pros showing up on the map with public profiles, it really is as if you don't exist. And I know you might say, well, but they'll just find me. I think the example I love to point to this example is early on in the early days of the We Get Around network, a real estate agent had Googled Matterport photographer Calgary, Canada, and even though there's a Matterport Pro at the time, there was a Pro in Calgary, Canada, it wasn't showing up in search, and yet they would find We Get Around because our SEO is pretty good, because there's a lot of people in the We Get Around network forum posting 24/7, and that counts towards our SEO that's helping people find our map, and then from our map. And as you know, sometimes real estate agents are not the most patient people, got short, and so if they have a quick way to find a pro and book a pro and be done with it, you may never even be part of that conversation. So I think that's probably another reason. We do have a number of companies that are using the We Get Around network map to find pros. They're doing one order, multiple markets. You really want to be in on those opportunities. I give you an example. Earlier this week, one of the companies using our map reached out and said, "Hey, I need pros in XYZ market. I have 22 listings to 22 residential properties to shoot." And even though in those cases we had multiple Matterport photographers on the map, the client hadn't taken the time to just simply go to the map. So all I did was literally take the links to each of the full page profiles that were on the map in that market and sent it to the client, and they were perfectly happy with that. So if you're not on the map, you don't get to be part of those kinds of discussions. And it's kind of like you don't even know these doors exist. I do know that, that we have very sophisticated buyers who, when they're buying multiple markets. And, I know that may not be for everyone because it means they're not necessarily offering a lot of money. But I think that speaks really well to if you're a new Matterport service provider, you're probably thinking, among three things. How do I get practice scanning? How do I make some money? And how do I get a logo for my website to be able to claim a client? So, even though I might not roll out of bed to go shoot some of these shoots for a national buyer that's not necessarily paying a lot of money, if you're a newbie, these can be like fantastic shoots because you do get paid while you're practicing your scanning. And collect a logo or something for your website that you have some experience under your belt, because generally these kinds of buys in mass, you don't necessarily need to be 2 years of experience. That actually does happen. So we get requests for I need someone who's already has experience scanning boats, yachts, etc. Anyway, the point is you want to be on the map. Should you join just to be on the map? No. Sometimes you could join as a We Get Around Network standard member, and in a day or a week, all of a sudden you have a lead, and you go, wow, that inbound lead paid for my membership for a year. On the other hand, you may be in a either a market or circumstances or whatever, and you go for a year and you still haven't gotten a lead. That happens. So I think what I would say is you really need to kind of look at the holistic approach of all the things that we're doing to help generate inbound business for you, whether that's marketing videos that are working 24/7 or the SEO that's coming from using a tool like what I consider an essential tool like WP3D models. And then all the other tools and solutions. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just join, all I care about is being on the map, we may not be a good solution for you, because your expectations may be I get a lead within 3 months, or I don't. And if your expectations are that and you're not using all the tools, then we may fall short. You might get some business from search within 3 months, but you also may not. Which market are you in? What are you in, a small market, a large market? Are there a lot of other Matterport pros on the map, or are there not? So there's lots of different factors, and I do believe that we can help you succeed faster if you take advantage of the marketing tools. I love when a member takes advantage of all 9 videos. They're using WP3D models. They get the free use of Panoskin Pro. You get the free use of 360 tours. We just launched free Nader logo patch to use with 360s, free. We have special savings on third-party solution providers. So there are a ton of other membership benefits. Particularly if you're new, one of the first things is digital assets. I need examples of Matterport spaces. I need a video that shows Matterport. I might need a GIF file. I need photos. Oh, I saw that 360 tours solution, but I don't have any 360s. I don't own a 360 camera, so it's kind of a catch-22. Well, guess what? You get the free use of 360 photo spheres that I've shot, so that you could go practice with the 360 tours service to decide whether you even want to go buy a $300 360 camera, so that you actually can be doing other things. So anyway, that's kind of I don't know if I'd say the top 3, but I'd say those are 3 of 40 plus reasons to join as a standard member. You might say, well, maybe I should join as a premium member. Generally, it's not the case. Premium member is typically a third-party service provider. So if you're a photographer or real estate agent, really the most popular membership is the standard membership. If you do get, so we have basic, standard, and premium. If you get the basic membership, it's not going to include 9 marketing videos. It doesn't have the free use of WP 3D models, doesn't have the free use of 360 tours, doesn't have the free use of Panoskin Pro. So really the best value for a photographer or real estate agent is standard membership. That's what I would suggest. But I'm hesitant because I also want to say to you, if you're going to join because you're going to take advantage of a lot of the membership benefits, not just that you want to be on the map. You really want to take advantage of the membership benefits. And I know also if you're new, one of the things is to take advantage of the We Get Around Network Training Academy Library. I think we have something like 250 hours of original programming. Just on pricing, I want to say there's 12 hours of me just talking specifically about different pricing strategy, pricing for newbies, pricing for those that have been at it a long time, different verticals, because pricing is different if you're doing a restaurant, which is an ongoing business, versus residential real estate that once it's sold, you're done. So even, just to be able to watch all, and it's all you can eat. So, literally, I guess if you joined as basic or standard or something and just said, I'm going to go consume, all the videos in 30 days, it'd probably be the deal of a century. But there is a lot of content, particularly if you're new. There's a lot of content regarding scanning best practices. One of my favorite videos is 90 minutes long. It's one take. The photographer Chris Frazier, he does Media Bumpers Interactive for us, Artistic Concepts. He mounted a GoPro camera to his chest and went and scanned a 2-story cabin, and he narrates, what he's doing, why he's doing it, how he's doing it, and there's no edits. I specifically bought this video because I wanted to have a long form, long in real time, because if you're just watching the sale or the marketing materials, you'd think it was so easy peasy and you could just be done with it in a second. And you can actually hear Chris talk about, he gets into problems while he's scanning, and then you hear how he solved the problems in real time, thinking about what didn't work and why, and how he's adjusting to deal with that. So to me, I just think that's a gem. It's 90 minutes long. It's scanning in real time, and we will continue to add programming, training videos. So I think, maybe if you're just starting out, it's even a bonus that you have this humongous library of training videos and all these digital assets. So but anyway, I felt like I just wanted to share with you kind of the 3 of the 40 plus membership benefits: the free use of WP 3D models, WordPress plugin, the free use of 9 marketing videos customized with your contact info and logo, and 3 locations on the We Get Around network, Find a Pro map, and that we enable people to filter the map in order to find a pro by Matterport, by Google Street View, by Zillow, and by default, you're automatically in each of those 3 categories. So in fact, let me just see if I can share a page with you, just so you can see, well, how do I find out where are all these benefits? It's a bit confusing. Where do I go? I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. So let's go. Let me share my screen here for a second, and I'm going to the We Get Around Network Forum. If you're watching us on YouTube, www.wegetaroundnetworkforum.com. We Get Around Network. We Get Around Network Forum. and you'll land on this page here. Oh, I got the wrong page up. There we go. Okay, so you'll end up on this page. You can minimize WGAN-TV, and right up here it has compare membership plans, membership benefits, and then you can join either as a basic member, a standard member, or a premium member right here. So all the membership benefits are here. And just as a little tactical thing that might be helpful to know, join first the We Get Around Network forum. It's free, and you get almost 20 membership benefits just simply for joining the free We Get Around Network forum. When you join the forum, you automatically get a message from me here in your in basket. And that message includes a list of all the membership benefits simply for joining the free forum. But once you're signed into the forum, if you then go to join standard, if you click on this link and you join as a standard member, you'll automatically then be redirected to a page. You'll get an email with the password, and you're automatically forward essentially to the My Profile page here, to be able to fill out your profile, and then you get an email that has a link to the Welcome on Board letter, as well as and the password to the Welcome on Board letter. So 24/7, you can begin your We Get Around Network standard membership and start activating membership benefits. So the Welcome on Board letter has all the order forms to order the various videos. Incidentally, I think I probably should mention, because it's a little bit hard to explain this, but we generally say we have you can order 3 videos from Media Bumpers Interactive. You can order 3 videos from Animamos. You can order 3 videos from, and so forth. But the reality is you actually get a total of 9 videos. So if you turned out that you wanted all 9 of them from Media Bumpers Interactive, perfectly fine. You wanted them all from Animamos, perfectly fine. You wanted them from a different vendor, perfectly fine. So all the order forms to order the videos, to order the WP3D models, WordPress plugin and license key, for that matter, Panoskin Pro, you get the free use of Panoskin Pro, the free use of 360 Tours. All that is in the Welcome on Board letter, along with all the passwords. So anyway, that's probably enough on this topic. I'll post this video in the We Get Around Network forum. And that way, if you have questions, feel free to ask the questions either in the forum. That's perfectly fine. There's if you have the question, others will likely have the question too. Or if you want to private message me in the forum and ask me a question. Otherwise, www.joinstandard.com, www.joinstandard.com to go ahead and join. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dan Smigrod, and I am the founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Look forward to having you join as a We Get Around Network Basic, Standard, or Premium member. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Excuse me. And I hope you have a great evening. If you're celebrating a holiday this weekend, I wish you a happy holiday, safe travels, and enjoy time with your family. Good night.